So it's been approximately 1 year since I set up my Aethir Checker Node. I haven't had any downtime so far. I haven't also taken any of my rewards because I just wanted to accumulate all the rewards and do a 1 year breakdown of what the rewards that I've accumulated so far was, how the journey has been so far, my thoughts and my strategy going forward, and also to be able to understand your feedback on how your journey has been so far. Now this is going to be a freestyle video. This is not a prep video. It's a new series that I'm starting where I go through the projects that I'm currently running to give you guys also an insight on how the rewards are going, and also to be able to understand your feedback in this perspective as well. So when I log onto the dashboard, you see that I currently have only one license and I have accumulated in this duration 17,254 Aethir tokens. During the public sale, I wanted to initially buy more nodes, but I couldn't buy it because the sale was extremely competitive. So in my case, I bought my checker node for approximately $1,500. Now at that time, the ETH value was very high, but now its value is low. But of course, the monetary value in terms of USDT as at the time that I bought the node was $1,500. I know that some people got it a bit cheaper. For instance, those that were on other launch pads could get it for, let's say, $500 or so. So technically my $1,500, if I knew or if I had some connections, I would have got 3 checker nodes, but I couldn't because I didn't have any connections at that time. So I paid clean $1,500 for my Aethir Checker Node. I actually even know people who paid more. I think I know and I read people who paid close to $3,500 for one checker node, right? So I'm not in the very, very bad boats. I would have loved to get a bit more or to get in a bit cheaper, but hey, the public sale was extremely competitive, so I couldn't do so. Now my checker node has been running non-stop for 1 year. I have never had a downtime, so you guys know that I do a lot of tutorials on how to set up the Aethir Checker Node, so I could just set a good example. I never had a downtime. Whenever there was an update, I updated my checker node immediately. So the rewards that you are seeing here are the clean rewards that anyone with a checker node of at least one license, anyone should get per checker node, because I have no downtime. Now these rewards that you see here also includes those bonuses that we receive. So you see that sometimes we receive bonuses. So you can see here that there were quarterly bonuses that we received. So whenever you see, when I go to the 1 year chart, you see that the values are like 335, 35, and it spikes up and it comes down because we receive quarterly bonuses depending on the uptime that you had for your checker node, right? So the results that I have, like I said, is purely based on keeping the node online 100%. Now, I haven't withdrawn any tokens so far, so I would like to see what the rewards that I've gotten so far would be today if I was to sell my tokens today. So when I come to CoinMarketCapital and I put in the total number of tokens that I have gotten, this amounts here to 886 Aethir, right? Like I said, I bought a checker node for $1,500, but now from the rewards that I've received exclusively from the checker node alone, I'm at 886, which is about 55% from an investment perspective. But to be honest, although the rewards that I've received from the checker node alone is about $886, we did receive this, so at least I did receive the season 1 airdrop. I also did receive this Curve Aethir ecosystem partnership where we also received Curve tokens. So basically, if I was to accumulate all these together, I'm sure I would have reached my ROI so far. But if I'm looking exclusively at the amount that I have generated with the fact that I haven't withdrawn any tokens so far, then I would say that I'm about 60% in terms of my ROI. But again, this is not going to be fair because I have received the season 1 airdrop. I've also received the ecosystem airdrops as well. So this brings my ROI to make it look very good. Now, a lot of you were smarter. So basically they were claiming rewards on a periodic schedule and basically slicing in the token anytime the token went high. So for instance, if I were to sell my token, so currently I think in September the ATH was around $0.08. So that means that if I'm to calculate my 17,257 times $0.08, you see that I'm very high in terms of the ROI. But I didn't withdraw any tokens because I really wanted to see how much I have accumulated in the entire year so that I'll be able to do this video. Another critical aspect of what has to be considered when I'm looking at my ROI is also the operating cost. So in my case, I'm very, very low in terms of operating costs because I'm hosting this node myself. But for instance, if you are hosting the node on a NAS provider, maybe you are paying about $10 a month or $15 a month. I don't know exactly how much the price would be. Then your ROI would look a bit lower than what I have, right? Because you'll be paying all this amount. So for instance, if you are paying $20 a month and you are looking at this over a period of 1 year, then it means that you have paid approximately, let's say, $140 in the year. So this would also go into your ROI. So in my case, it's a self-hosted node. And again, if you do have a PC with a decent internet connection, I would always recommend to try to host your node for yourself, because if the nodes are not that profitable, then it gets a bit expensive hosting it on other platforms. What I personally did is that my node that you are seeing here, I'm hosting just paying $10 a year. And I did a tutorial as well on how you can set up the Aethir Checker Node for just $10 a year. And I did this by using RackNet. So in RackNet, you see that they have a lot of VPS packages. So I went with a 1 GB option because I just have one checker node, and this is way more powerful to run the checker node. So $11, I think now it increases. By the time that I did it, it was about $10 a year. And this node and this VPS is extremely stable, guys. I've never had a downtime. It's been always rocking, and I'm extremely happy with the VPS so far. So if you're looking for alternative options as to how to self-host your node, I would highly recommend that you go with RackNet because the prices are very, very low and your uptime is extremely stable. If you do have a VPS that you may be using for another project, you do not need to buy an extra VPS for the Aethir Checker Node because the Aethir Checker Node is extremely light. Now this checker node doesn't do much. It just communicates with an API and send transaction validation. So you do not need to buy, like I would really never buy a VPS that would just run Aethir Checker Node because it's a very, very light node. If you have a VPS for whatever reason that you're using it for, just add the Aethir Checker Node and you wouldn't see really any difference in terms of your VPS resources because the checker node is extremely light. It's not a full-blown validator node. It's just a software that communicates with the Aethir backend and basically validates transactions. So you do not need to pay extra for the VPS. If you have any VPS, just add the checker node to it and you'll be good to go. If you need help with setting up the checker node because it may be complicated for you, just hit me up. I'm just going to put all my contacts in the description section. Just send me a message. We can set up the node together for you for free. I mean, I'm really here to help you so that you can maximize your earnings in terms of your node deployment. So don't be pulled back by the technicality. Just hit me up. We can get this $10 VPS. We can set it up together and then you can see how it is. And the good thing so far that I like about the Aethir Checker Node is that the updating hasn't been that much. So if you look into their release notes, so what I can see is that there were a number of updates, to be honest. When they immediately launched the mainnet, we had to update our checker node so many times because they were basically bootstrapping the network and fixing a few bugs in there. But what you see quite nicely when from the release notes is that maybe down here you can see this systematically. You see that the frequency reduces as the network matured a bit more. So we used to have it July 5th, July 18th, July 9th, July 12th, July 17th, July 25th. But then you can see that in August it reduced a bit, in October it reduced a bit, in November, and basically sequentially in that format. And also not all the release versions were mandatory. Some of the release notes, the checker node updated itself. So the checker node itself wasn't also a very difficult node to maintain. There were a few updates here and there where we had to log in into the server and do the update, but otherwise it's been quite passive. So if you're having any difficulty with your checker node because it goes offline and stuff like that, please hit me up also in the contact section and then we can basically look at it and troubleshoot together. I'm going to do this for you for free, so you do not need to worry about the monetary aspect. Now, what I do not like, I personally don't understand why we are getting 33 ATH tokens a day. Now, if you look at the value of the Aethir token, that is $1.17 a day, which is not good, right? So if you look at, for instance, if I compare the Aethir Checker Node to the Aethir Edge, so I do own a lot of Aethir Edges, right, to be honest. So I think I have like 8 or so. So I'm not complaining that much in terms of the overall ATH tokens that I cumulatively receive. But if you compare the Aethir Edge to the Aethir Checker Node, now the Aethir Edge was receiving, or at least so far we have been receiving consistently 100 ATH tokens a day. Now for a device that costs, let's say 1,300, the first one for the first sale we got in a bit later, we got in a bit cheaper. But for instance, if you had to buy an Aethir Checker Node, when I bought mine, I think when I bought a new 4 device somewhere in December or November, I paid about $1,300, right? Now for $1,300 you get an Aethir Edge, which for 1 year has been generating 188 tokens a day. Now for the same $1,300 I get a checker node, which is, instead of generating that much, generating $33 a day. And this is what I don't really understand. I really hope that the Aethir team would really compensate us on the rewards that we are getting for the checker node. So I do admit that there are these quarterly bonuses that come in and stuff like that. Here I got like 1,700 ATH. Here I got like, what is it, 1,500. Here I got like 1,500. So these quarterly bonuses are good, to be honest, but I personally think that the amount of tokens that we are receiving on daily basis has to be increased. I mean, considering the fact that this was done for the Aethir Edge, where the Aethir Edge was receiving 100 ATH a day. Again, I can't complain much because I do own an Aethir Edge, so I'm extremely happy that the Aethir Edge is earning that much. And that is why, maybe that is why I'm a bit biased in terms of the fact that I wasn't even motivated to take any of my rewards, because I was getting way more from the Aethir Edges. So in my perspective, I think it will be extremely helpful if the Aethir team ramps up a bit on the tokens that they have done so much changes to the Aethir Edge, increasing the token price, increasing the amount of tokens that we earn. And now there's going to be another drastic change to the Aethir Edge. So stay tuned. I'm going to make that video as well. They're going to change. I think the 1 year, the 188 tokens a day was supposed to run for only 1 year. And now they are going to change this up to, I don't know, about whatever that you have to stake some tokens and stuff like that. So that is also going to change. But generally, they have been making some adjustments with respect to the Aethir Edge. And that is what I expect that they would also make some adjustments with respect to the ATH, because for a token or for an NFT that you paid, in my case, I paid about $1,500. I think it's a bit low to be earning 33.80 ATH, but it's about less than $2 a day. I mean, this could be really be stopped up. So this is what I personally do not like, and I really hope that the Aethir team is going to step up the checker node, because it's a bit sad. I mean, I really feel it in the shoes of those who do not own the Aethir Edge but went more into the checker node, because you basically, I mean, there's a bit of an imbalance there. And that was the main reason why I went more into the Aethir Edge, because the rewards from the Aethir Edge pool are way higher than the rewards for the checker node. It could also be because there are way more checker nodes available than the Aethir Edge. Maybe down the line, in a few years or in a few months, that it's going to flip, where they're going to sell more Edge devices, and then the amount of tokens that we would receive from the Edge is going to be relatively lower than the amount that we're going to receive from the checker node. But currently, as at the time that I'm speaking, June 2025, the Aethir Edge is earning way more than the checker node. And then maybe I know that they're going to change the rewards for the Aethir Edge, and I'm also going to make a video on that. And based on that, we can really evaluate if it's still, because so far it's been extremely profitable to own the Aethir Edge, at least in my opinion. But with the changes that are coming in terms of the rewards, it would be interesting to see if the Aethir Edge is still going to be promising. I'm going to make another video about this to you guys soon, so make sure that you stay tuned. So another thing, Aethir did release this checker node NFT buyback program. So the idea is that, so if you remember, and this is where I also need a bit of clarity. So we knew that the Aethir Checker Node NFT was supposed to be locked for 1 year, right? But the question as to whether we were allowed to sell the checker nodes NFTs ourselves on whatever platform, maybe OpenSea or something like that, or if that buyback or that NFT 1 year lock was only restricted to Aethir buying back the NFT from us. And if you really know an answer to this question, I'll be very happy to hear your answer as well. If the 1 year NFT lock that we had was only restricted to the fact that Aethir can buy the checker node line NFT after 1 year, or if it is really the fact that we can sell it wherever you are, because Aethir released this checker node NFT buyback program and the community sentiment has not been that positive. So the whole idea is that if you have a checker node and you're not happy with the checker node, you can sell back your checker node to Aethir, and then you would be paid in their eigen ATH tokens, with this EATH. Now it looks like, I haven't done mine, I'm going to give you my thoughts on that as well, but it looks like you're going to be selling the checker node to them at a fixed price. So because I haven't done it, I do not know exactly what the value of the, or how much Aethir is going to buy back the checker node. So in my case, for instance, I paid about $1,500 for my checker node, so I do not know if Aethir is going to buy it back for $1,500 worth of EATH, or if this is going to be a fixed price. So it's a very interesting buyback program. I really took my time to go through most of it. So what I also understood is that the prices would also be changing depending on the time that the buyback program is running. So it's also not going to be a fixed price that we're going to be getting from selling the checker node. So this is already live. It went live on the May 27th. So if you're not happy about your checker node and want to sell your checker node back to Aethir, this could be one opportunity that you can do so. But there's always a but, right? This is what I do not like. Let me search this currently. Let me search this shortly in the text. Now, when you sell your checker node NFT to Aethir, they pay you in Eigen ETH. Now, this token that you're going to receive is going to be locked for 1 year. I mean, I already had a lockup for my NFT for 1 year, and if I'm selling it, why do you also lock the token again for 1 year? So that means that if you sell the token now, you can only redeem it in 1 year, which is on June 13th, 2026. So you really, we know in the crypto space, we want instant gratification, right? So if I do something now, I want to get a rewards immediately. So I do not understand why we have to vest the tokens for 1 year after we have already kept it for 1 year for the NFT. So I would have preferred, or I think the community sentiment would have been a bit way positive if we could sell the token to Aethir immediately and receive our ATA tokens immediately, or whatever tokens that we're going to get immediately. But the fact that we have to keep this up for 1 year, I think deters a lot of people from selling it. Or maybe people are a bit really frustrated and want to get rid of their checker because the rewards, for whatever reason, has been a bit low, and maybe they want to get rid of it. But what you have to remember is that you can't do anything with the tokens that you're going to receive for 1 year. So you're really going to have to wait a bit longer before you can get back the money that you basically invested in. And this is, for me, a bummer. Am I going to sell my checker node NFT? I don't think so. I personally believe in the Aethir project. I think Aethir is going to be a project that is going to excel. Additionally, because the checker node is not a very, trust me, I have set up so many nodes. Some nodes that I've set up, I have to basically come into the VPS and restart, or maybe do an update on the node every week. And some of them I even gave up and just went to NAS because it got way difficult to handle the checker node. It got way difficult to handle the node. But the Aethir checker node itself hasn't been that difficult to operate. It's been a very light node to operate. So that is why, from an operating perspective, it's not that painful for me to operate it. And I enjoy running the checker node myself because I really want to see how far this journey is going to go, right? So I'm not going to sell mine. I'm going to keep my NFT. It's 4 years. I'm going to keep it running for 4 years. I do not think I'm going to, at least as of today, I do not have any plans to sell it back to Aethir or to put it back on the open market. But if you want to sell this, these are what is available to you. You can sell it back to Aethir, and then after 1 year, you get your rewards, or you get your EATH, which you can sell. So basically, that is just about, maybe it was a long video. I don't know how long this was, but I really wanted to put out my thoughts there and really let you guys understand where I am, where I stand, how my ROI is looking, and what my strategy would be going forward. Let me know how is your ROI looking like? What is your feeling so far about the project and the checker node rewards that we've been receiving? Are you going to sell back your NFT to Aethir, or are you going to keep it? Just let me know. Put in this comment section, and I'll be extremely happy to hear your feedback as well. And with that, I say thanks for watching this video. Like I said, this is going to be a new series that I'm going to be starting, where I'm going to go through all the projects, give you my feedback, those that flopped, those that I'm happy about, and then we can basically share our ideas and our thoughts together. And with that, I say thanks for watching this video, and see you in the next one. Bye.